If my pulse has gone up to 115 before, like it did this morning, has my blood pressure also gone up, like it did this morning? So if it's just my having eaten a box of candy that's blowing up my blood pressure...
Let us prepare to tangle in a raucous fashion.
Well, howdy. Nearly Senior Citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day. Hokey smokes, a brand new day wherein I am filled with so much energy that my brain is bursting and ready to talk. Two reasons for that, I think. Number one, I'm continuing to actually come out of my depression trough, and that's very good. And number two, I actually at 5:30 took my first dose of Ritalin. And then at 7 o'clock, I took a second dose of Ritalin. So that wasn't very smart, but I wasn't really feeling any slowdown effects or any ability to focus. And so I went and took an extra Ritalin. I also did a couple other things that have made my system not very happy, and I'm actually kind of worried. So in a moment, I am actually going to talk about that because I might be walking to the emergency room in a bit. But first, to appease the YouTube algorithms, hey, if you could toss me a like, that'd be very cool. If you could subscribe to the channel, that'd be very awesome. If you could leave me a comment, I love comments. I read every one. I thumbs up each one I read, which again is all of them. I answer as many as my executive dysfunction will allow. Thumbs up for that. And I do want to thank every single one of my Patreon patrons. These literally beautiful, literally awesome people have been slowing my slow descent under the waves of financial ruin and helping me to survive while I do that. I appreciate that very much. Thank you. It is greatly appreciated. And if you would like to be one of these beautiful and awesome people and helping me survive, then there are links in the show more for the video description. Yay! Front loading of video over. Thank you, YouTube algorithms. I took my blood pressure this morning. Normally my blood pressure is around 115/60. And my pulse is right around 55 because I've been walking miles and miles and miles daily, and I live on the second floor of our rental. My blood pressure this morning was almost 160, 158/84. That's not incredibly high. I have had higher blood pressure in the past when I was an active drinker, but that's a whole lot higher than I'm used to. And that's not good. I don't want to have a stroke. I don't want to have a heart attack. I don't want anything bad to happen. Now the thing is, with my pulse up like it is, with my blood pressure up like it is, there's a couple things that my system actually does when I do some things. Now I'll try and speak English. I'll try and explain. I have double-dipped and accidentally double-dipped on my Ritalin in the past. I've just gotten sleepy those 2 times that I did that. I did not have an increased pulse. I did not have an elevated blood pressure. I just got sleepy. Today, my blood pressure and pulse are elevated. But I also, for breakfast, I ate a box of candy. A box of Junior Mints. I have noticed that if I eat certain types of candy, my pulse will go up. And there have been times my pulse has gone up to 115. If my pulse has gone up to 115 before, like it did this morning, has my blood pressure also gone up, like it did this morning? So if it's just my having eaten a box of candy that's blowing up my blood pressure, so I'm going to be not eating as much candy and checking my blood pressure as well. I mean, not just today, I mean forever, because I don't eat gluten. I just gotta cut out all that candy, which is a good thing. I don't just eat candy, but I do eat candy periodically. But yeah, my pulse is up, my blood pressure is up, and also, as a third point, I do smoke cannabis for pain control. And in the past, I have sometimes had my pulse become elevated after a good sativa. And I do occasionally get anxiety from sativas. So I had double dosing on Ritalin, candy, sativa. I'm leaning more toward the candy because my pulse does do that when I eat candy stuff. And I've never checked my blood pressure, but maybe I should have. But I'm going to be monitoring my blood pressure. I do not want a stroke or heart attack. So thumbs up on that. I also, as stated, my brain is bursting. My brain is bursting. I have been feeling better, and now I've got the ability to hyper-focus all of a sudden. I'm remembering everything. I don't have enough time in the world to mention everything I want to talk about. But, spider report, yay! I had mentioned before how there is this long-legged, tiny-body spider that was dangling around, and I had poked at her little, like 2-inch long legs, just because suddenly I'm not arachnophobic. And I was actually thinking, I wonder if I could actually put her on my finger and let her run around on my hand without freaking out. I didn't. I'm not at that point yet. But then she vanished for a couple days. And, I took a shower, I did stuff, and then yesterday I noticed she was back in my shower stall. And then at the end of the day, she was looming over my mirror, and then this morning she was back in the shower stall. So I went and I actually turned on the shower and let the water spray for a bit so that she'd be able to drink. So house spiders live in a time of constant need. I mean, they're evolved for it, but if I can help alleviate any of that need by giving her water to drink, then I'll do so. I would never have figured I would reach this point in my arachnophobia where it basically does not exist. Thumbs up. I mean, I've always found spiders fascinating, and just absolutely, they have an amazing but terrifying alien beauty, and thumbs up for that. Now, let's see what else I do have here that I want to talk about. Oh, yes, I was playing the game Vampire Survival. I think that's what it is. It's that $3 game that a lot of people have been playing. It's basically a bullet hell, except you fire out all the stuff and nobody else fires at you. But if you don't know what the game is, you're a little guy in the middle of the screen, and you start off weak, and a fair amount of small creatures are just coming in from the side, and you have your weapon, whatever it happens to be. There are a lot of weapons and power-ups for those weapons, but they fire just a little bit. Like, you start off where it just goes, boom, one shot, and it might not even hit. But then, as these critters die, some of them drop experience stuff, you get tougher. As you power up, you begin to fire more of these projectiles, and then different types of projectiles to go with that, and then they get stronger, and you can get fields that make you invulnerable, because as they're coming in, they start coming in a lot, and then a lot of tougher ones, until you're in the middle of the screen, literally with hundreds or thousands of these sprites just all coming in. Well, they're not sprites, but they're, little hand animated things coming in toward you, and you've got to be tough enough to be able to survive all that. I've watched a lot of people play and wondered if I was ever going to get that tough. Last night, I had one thing go just right, because you are strongly at the mercy of RNGesus. It's all RNG. But I got enough stuff that I was lasting, and then I started mega lasting. And then I reached the point where my screen was lagging hard. And this is just, there's no polygons, it's just little sprites moving on the screen. But there were so much particle effects, so many weapons flying, so many little constant streams of these experience things coming in that it was massive lag. But I'd also reached the point where I'd maxed out every single thing. And then just by making small movements, because I couldn't move much, because if I moved and then held the key down, I'd go flying because of all the lag. But it was just, ba-ding, and then you leveled up. And so all I could do was like, I'll take a bag of money. And then, booding, bag of money, booding, bag of money, booding, bag of money, please, booding. They didn't stand a chance. Everything was just every few seconds I got that. At the 30-minute mark, death comes. And that's a character, and you die. I don't know if you can beat that. You might be able to. But I have not yet online seen anyone do it, but I haven't been searching for it. But it was just, whoa, because it was just almost like series of still shots instead of regular motion because of everything happening. My card is a GeForce 1050 Ti. I used to have a really good AMD R9 290X, and then it died. And then, I mean, I'm not going to put down the card too much. It was a gift from somebody online whom, after my AMD card died, donated it to me. I'm not going to put it down, but it is several generations behind. And with the current things happening, you know, with the upgrades to the operating systems, well, my hardware is lagging more and more and more. So yay. But I also want to talk about NFTs and all this. I follow a few channels that talk about NFTs and all the things that are happening in the crypto market. Again, if you weren't in on crypto from the beginning, you are not an investor, you are a product. Because the people that are in charge of crypto have billions behind them. And if you are one of the smaller people that makes money, you are one of the smaller people that can do it. A very small percentage of people can make money legit. Most can't. And especially when it comes to NFTs. Every single day, people are getting scammed for tens of millions in each scam. And then you send off money to somebody you don't know, that you can't research, that promises something, and then 2 days later they vanish and take the 70 million with them. And it happens all the time. You've had people that have rug pulled like that and then turned up to say, hey, we saw how you got rug pulled. Invest in us. We promise that won't happen. Yank again. With NFTs especially, if you weren't there in the beginning, if you don't have so much money that you can lose millions in a day and it doesn't hurt, you are the product. If you are not a scammer on the NFT market, then you're playing the game wrong, because scammers are making tens of millions daily, and people that do it legit are just losing millions upon millions. Now, I don't say this as a sour grapes thing. I don't have money. I can't even get involved. I don't really care personally about all this. I enjoy the schadenfreude of watching people suffer because they're being stupid, but I have no horse in the race. I don't care. But if you get into it now, you're not getting into it early. You are the product. When people cash out of crypto or out of the NFTs, there's one pool of money. You cash out, that money's gone. How do you replace that money? You get more people to buy into it, to replace that money. And then when somebody else cashes out, you need more people because there's no money left. So, Now, really quick, because I'm almost at the 15-minute mark, I wanted to talk a bit about the whole Razor's Edge thing. I've talked about how I wouldn't want to live there because it is just crazy, absolutely dangerous. I mean, your odds of getting eaten are just small, but never very small or zero. The people that live there, of course, are the descendants of adrenaline junkies and thrill seekers. They like living there. The craziness is part of what makes life worth living for these people. And when people out here who have the sight find out that there's all this, some of them, yeah, they do things like there's the sheriff who needed a deputy in Tall Ned, and the guy who filled the position came from out here on the outside, discovered he had the site when he answered an advertisement was going like, the Brookerton door And tall Ned? And then ended up being able to travel there as it triggered his sight. Found out that he likes it. And of course, not all craziness is going to be fatal. Your mileage will vary. But I talk about how there's Iron John trapped through all this time. There's, the old Ray who goes out traveling and finds this village just filled with, skeletons, remains of those who lived there. Another person who goes out traveling and finds this fungal kingdom and approves because the fungus is doing great for everything living there and lives to tell the tale. All this stuff is daily life there. It's crazy with all of this energy and all the levels and everything that lives there and everything that happens. It is a lunatic place to live, and these people thrive on that. And if you have the sight, you may find you crave it too. But again, it's nuts. All that stuff is the norm. Most of it not so, violent or painful or messy ending. Not all of it ending up with you trapped, 1.4 million years from your home time. But this lunacy is, hey, it's just Tuesday, isn't it? Spring in your step and have an umbrella to make sure all the bouncing orbs of whatever don't hit ya. And I've opened up 24 hours worth of comments in my community tab. Going to go through and thank however many people have left me comments in the past 24 hours. There aren't many, but anything more than 0 is awesome. If I mispronounce or use the name, no disrespect is intended, and even though I count American Sign Language on the fingers of that hand with my depression, fibro, and thinking about my blood pressure and all that, there are days that I just don't remember things as well as I used to. I've never remembered things well. I'm remembering things better than I ever have. What am I even talking about? I can't even think. Hopefully I'm not having a stroke right now. Confused Owl 29. ADHD and stuff it does suck, but it doesn't just take ADHD to make a day fly by. Oof. We have Prod by Kill for You, who, while being unpleasant, also was not abusive in my eyes, so I left the comment there. You can disagree with me violently, and as long as you're not abusive, that's fine. That's great. So, thank you for the comment. Greatly appreciate it. Bruce Wayne, thumbs up and thank you. Ben B, oh, Hokey smokes. I like the game No Man's Sky. I hate the fact that it takes like 6 or 7 minutes for me to be able to load the game on my PC. Ugh. We have Young Sick, thumbs up and thank you. Jocelyn Williams, always good to see you in the comments. And that is actually it. Thumbs up, 6 people who left me comments in the past 24 hours. Greatly appreciated. Each and every one of you get me out of my head and into the world and dealing with real people. Definitely a thumbs up. Thank you so much. Yay. And of course, if you could check out my various links and such, where I have things like Twitter and Facebook and Patreon, that'd be cool if you could check those out. And again, I do want to thank my Patreon patrons. These literally beautiful, literally awesome people are literally beautiful and literally awesome. I enjoy being alive, and I know that my cat and my hamster and even the spiders that are down in my bathroom and up here, they all appreciate being alive. Thank you so much for helping me to be alive and for all of my pets and attendant arachnids to stay alive as well. It is appreciated. If you'd like to help me out without becoming a patron, there's a PayPal link if you could check that out. And if you'd like to help me out without sending any form of financial aid, I do have an Amazon wishlist link with stuff like cat food on it so that my cat can eat. I'm almost out of money entirely. If you could help out, that would be awesome. And of course, if you could toss me a like, I do appreciate all the positive validation you get from my existence. And if you could subscribe to the channel, that'd be very cool. Definitely a thumbs up. Yay! I'm not quite sure I said all of that, but my normal spiel. But as long as I said some of it and it was at least partly intelligible, that's a good thing. Definitely a thumbs up. So, I got phone calls that I need to make. I got my blood pressure I gotta keep monitoring for a while. I've got stuff that I want to get done. Hopefully you've got things that you would like to get done, and hopefully you can get them done. If you can't, don't feel bad. Life is life. This is all just temporary. It's all a transition state. And of course, with the covfefe bug raging, I worked this out this morning. You know, people who say the covfefe bug isn't nothing, there's only 2,000 Americans dying every day. 2,000 Americans dying every single day at the end of a year is over 700,000 people. So please, take your precautions seriously. Don't check out early. We are alive for such a short period of time, and then we're dead forever. Don't check out early. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side. And quite frankly, I think that's a very good thing.